it's not just a redo. Actually, it's more of an update onto the Naihanchi Shodan that Oyata Sensei taught us. The reason I'm doing it is because now I feel much better. My tendonitis is gone. My balance has returned. I'm feeling better. And on this, well, not so lovely 22nd of February 2024, it's the first really good day that we've had. We've been able to film. So I'm sorry for not being able to post more, but the weather has been atrocious. It's raining, it's cold, it's things like that. So today, no rain, although it looks like we're going to get it in a bit. But everything is much better for filming, and we can do it today because Yoshi is free. Yoshua is free to help video this. Now, some of the things that I talked about when I did the original one, they're still pretty much the same. They haven't changed. There are a few little things that I do want to bring out that were not brought out. Some of them are regarding the feet, what they're doing, and some of them are regarding our hands. Now, as you know, in Naihanchi Shodan, we start off with our bow. Our hands come up, and then they come in and down. If I reverse that, my hands would be doing this. All right? What happens if one hand was doing this, while the other hand did that? That's another technique movement that you can use in your form. All right? So that's one of the little things that I did want to bring out. Also, once I start my kata, I come in, just like I said before, feet come together, knees are bent, and I look. Now, I showed it, my foot shifted just a little bit, like that. In Matoburu, they do that. And Oyata also started doing that. I was not taught that way. I was taught to step over the foot. But now, having reviewed things and checked things out, and also the reasoning behind some of the things that are being brought out, we essentially come up, down, our feet are together, we look, and I do shift without bothering to step, and I step across. Now, this position means a few things. One, if someone, and I'm going to move back a little bit so you can see this better. If I'm facing someone and I have thwarted their attack and they take off, attempting to run, what I'm going to do with this particular movement is I'm going to step out towards them. My back foot, as one of their feet starts to elevate itself, I'm going to violently kick the other foot, sweeping it out from underneath them, and I'm going to land like this. Now, if you take a look at this, you can see it is very, very much the position that I have occurred here. Another thing you can do with this, which I did not bring out, but from here, of course, you can kick. You can kick. So the shifting of these things and all of the movements within your katas, all of them have multiple meanings. For example, Yoshi, would you please come? Yoshi's going to help me just show you a little small detail because we have this movement. Boom. Well, and I'm sorry I didn't bring a club with me today. If Yoshi starts coming in like he has a baseball bat, and I step in very quickly, you can't hold on a baseball bat like that. It's impossible. No, baseball bats are like this.
I had it like that when you hit my arm.
No, I didn't even hit you. I love this kind of stuff. This is stuff that really makes videos a lot of fun when you see, oops,
Hey, did that really do that?
well, yeah, he did it. Okay, camera aside. As he comes in, I'm going to move in quickly, stopping it. And then from here, this hand is just going to pop up into his eye. Now take a look at what's happened. I can step behind him if I want, or I can just step off to the side, and look what I've got his arm in this position, and this is pushing him back against this. So if the baseball bat's over there, I can take it. If the baseball bat's over there, I can walk around behind. I can take it from him. But again, this is almost the same movement that we're doing right at the very beginning of our form. These are things that are mental gymnastics that you are supposed to, as you get further along in your studies, you get older, these are things that you're supposed to be thinking about, figuring out. Now, some people say, well, kata's a dance. Yes, kata is a dance. Kata is a dance. It's prearranged movements, and you're doing them. And the Okinawans did do them during their festivals when they got together, different villages, and everybody got together. When people went to train, they'd learn different things. They'd learn different forms and stuff like that. But people say, well, in the Orient, they learned that way. Well, hey, I was in fencing class at the university. And believe it or not, we practiced kata. Oh, yes. We didn't go out there and constantly fence with each other. We practiced the movements. Down, boom, boom, thrust. We practiced these movements in prearranged order so we could learn how to do the movements themselves. Blee interference without, pardon me, that's Hebrew, blee is Hebrew, without interference of the movement. The Orient trained in kata. Well, guess what the manual of arms is in the U.S. Army? Oh, yeah. I learned kata over and over and over in the U.S. Army. They just didn't call it that. We had to be standing at attention, and the rifle came up. The hand came down. Turn it over. Bring it down. Up, boom, boom. All of these things. We were taught pre-arranged movements to get us to where we could maneuver things constantly. Bayonet training is a prime example of it. We didn't go out there with bayonets and stick each other. We practiced the movements over and over and over. We practiced the movements on throwing hand grenades. We practiced the movements of shooting before they ever allowed us to go out and shoot. I can see why. If you'd gone to my basic training, you'd have seen this guy named Beeler. And once you watched Beeler for about, I'd say a day, you'd understand why they didn't give us bullets in the beginning. Because Beeler was a life and death type of guy. As long as he was alive, you were threatened with death. Because if anybody could screw something up, well, that was Beeler. We'll ignore that. Now, kata is a traditional way of teaching. I did 2 of the movements, and now, from here, due to popular request, I'm going to do the whole thing and explain a little more. So we start off, of course, with the bow. The hands come up. And if you recall, the message finger, the one you give to people you don't exactly care for, is covered. The hands come in, the hands go down, the feet come together like a clown. You bend your knees, you turn your head. And as we're moving, we're going to cross, boom, step, boom. Now from here, just like I showed you before, the hands that have come down, hit, and notice the hand is held in this position. I'm not turning it this way. If I hit this way, that basically means with us, all right, now I don't care about other people, but with us, with my people, this means I'm using my elbow as a strike. But this does not. Because in this position, if I tried to hit something really hard and heavy, I can hurt my forearm. So instead, this is more like something I'm trapping. His hand might be grasping me, and from here I put my arm in the way and apply the pin to it. That's just another idea. It's not the end all. There's more things. So from here, shift up and down. Looking to the side, and from here, again, like I noticed, his hand's here, I strike down, do my little punch, just like the first video. Now, from here, I'm going to cross over, step, and as I do so, notice my foot is coming around in this manner. That essentially means I'm going around something. That means I'm avoiding something. And that something, since it's on the ground, you know, the first video was an airplane. Now in this one, it's a bus. Wonderful. What's probably going to be avoiding is a leg, going around a leg, which means I have another nasty little surprise for somebody in the future. Quarter second. So I bring my foot, I bring my foot around, out, head and hand move together. Now, our blocks are done here. This is the way I was taught. This is the way Master Nakamura taught us. Choki Matobu himself had it up here. All right? That's the way Choki did it. And Matobu still does it that way. Doesn't mean anything one way or the other, except Matobu wants to get in very close when they're executing their techniques. They, like us, step in, constantly moving in, cutting off the distance with the opponent. But I was taught with it here, 90 degrees, 45s. That's the way I was taught. And I'm going to continue teaching just like I was taught. So the head, this moves together. Now, this arm moves around, and this is basically a scooping type of motion. In other words, I can scoop up your leg. I can hop off to the side. For example, he kicks, I move to the side, and I've got his leg. I've caught his leg by simply scooping. So from here, I'm going to scoop, and when this comes down, I'm not blocking like that. No, it's going straight down as if I'm punching something. Oh, really punching? Well, perhaps he kicks at me, maybe wanting to disturb the family jewels. So, boom, into his foot. Now, how about hitting him in the hand or something? Well, okay, that's a nice explanation, but have you ever tried it? Do you know how hard it is to hit a hand coming in to punch you? Boom. Any idea? And by the way, it's down here. Who punches down here? Well, that's where it ends. Oh, yeah, okay, that's where it ends. But take a look again. We're not talking about anything up higher, and people are famous as headhunters. They love hitting your head. That's their favorite thing. I'm going to hit him right in the head and break every bone in my hand. Okay, thug. I don't need to think of it as being into his hand or arm. Unless, of course, he's reaching across to grab something, and then I could punch right on the top of his forearm. But it is definitely a strike. Now, from here, I've seen everything under the sun. But with us, we hit, bring it back. So in other words, as he comes in, I might catch, hit him, which I wouldn't do like this, of course. I would twist my hand properly. And then as it comes back, I could pin his arm. All right? So I punched, and brought it back. Now I look to the side again. I bring my foot up, bring it down, and then strike. Someone asked me, but shouldn't your strike hit just a little bit before your foot goes down? Yeah, if I want to fall flat on my face. I cannot use any power if I'm not solidly grounded. And if this foot is not on the ground and I'm leaning forward like I should, I'm going to fall down. So, no, I do not, in the kata, hit with my hands, powerful with speed, before the foot goes on the ground. They were smart enough to understand that in the Orient. Which, whatever. Now, I've hit, I center, and notice my head, my eyes are following it. And then when this stops, it continues. Look to the other side, make the strike, down, and hit to here, which is different and a little bit more difficult to do. The hands, notice like I'm grabbing something. The hands are coming back down, and then both of them together are done with a strike in this manner. Looks very similar to what I did over there, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. But it's not. It's just the way things are. Now, this was a redo. That's the first half. I've explained a lot of the things. This little thingy here, where I'm doing this, now before I said it was a kick. I hope I said it was a kick. And Yoshi's going to help me here on this again. From here, what I'm going to do is perhaps, while I'm sitting here going like blah, 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 I'm trying to calm him down. I don't want to be the one that everybody's videoing with their cameras and then later show it to the cops. The cop goes, oh, that guy, he's the aggressor. No. I want to sit there and look like I'm the one that's attempting to calm down the situation. I'm not. I'm plotting. So, as he starts to make a move, boom, I kick. Now notice, my foot came up and struck his knee with what we call a Naihanchi kick. All right? So I struck his knee. Then I can step forward, bang, 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 take him down, do whatever I want. Honestly, I can't get along without him. It's very difficult for people to understand that. But you have to have somebody that you can trust. Somebody that knows what they're doing and will one day make a good replacement. So, as my foot came up, it strikes my knee and it does it exactly like I did to him. That's just one of the things. I can strike out, boom, and I'm going to plant forward because I want my weight to go into the kick. It has to be fast. I'm not going to kick my knee like that. I'm sorry. You may be enjoying the video. You may be sitting there hoping, oh, I hope he breaks his knee because he's stupid. Well, okay. Oyata called me stooping. I do not know how many times, but fortunately, not that stooping. All right. Now, that concludes Naihanchi Shodan, the little update that I wanted to do. I wanted you to see how the things are done. Now, here's something really that needs to be brought up, and that is we teach a defensive, very aggressive defensive art. Our thing is designed specifically with the idea that violence is neither good nor bad. Violence is violence. It depends upon how it is being utilized. If you're using violence to harm other people, to do other things bad, then it's not good. But if you're using it to defend yourself, there's nothing wrong with it. You have to. A lot of people do not back down if you talk to them. Which brings me to today's situation around the entire world. It appears that we're going insane. And if you want to be able to defend yourself, your family, your friends, and those are the people who count. Those are the people who count. Yourself, your family, your friends. These people. You have to start studying now. If you have not been studying, when the time comes, it's way too late. And if you've been studying for a week or 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and bad comes, evil comes for you, it's too late. You might get 1 or 2 things out. You might do something. But the chances are, no. You're not going to be able to handle the adrenaline dump, the stress, everything that occurs. So, my advice to you is start training. I'm 70, and by the way, I made a mistake in the first video when I said I was 75. Turns out, I can't even count anymore. I'm 77 years old. All right? It's embarrassing to have to admit that. But if you'll notice, I can still work, I can still do the things, and I'm not in terrible shape. I'm not all bent over and decrepit like a lot of my friends who worked in offices and things like that all their life. This is a healthy thing. This is something that keeps you healthy and going physically. And when you do your katas and your techniques and you're working with other people, also your mind. A healthy mind and a healthy body go together. It does not do you any good to have a really nice healthy mind inside a crippled body. It really does not. Okay, so much for that. You know that the problems are coming. If you think they're not, you have not studied history one bit. Every empire that goes up comes down. Everything, every civilization throughout all of human history has eventually collapsed. Right? I'm not going to go into the reasons why, but the fact is, that is a fact. And that is why you should study martial arts. I hate to say this, but even if it's some stupid sport style, that's better than nothing. So with that, I'll let you go. That's all for me for today. Thank you very much. And I hope to be able to do some more videos as the weather gets better. And not, stuff like this. Other good things. Also, we're thinking seriously of a Patreon account. Don't know about it yet, but we're thinking about it. So, with that, take care. Sayonara.